Welcome to another edition of Entrepreneurs in Fuego. We're documenting the journey of entrepreneurs one digital footprint at a time. And that's the first time that I set this whole thing, the whole entry, just without any bumps or bruises or stops or anything like that.
Well, look at
And you know why?
Why is that?
Because I am in the company of somebody such beautiful as you.
Oh, you're so awesome. I love that. Thank you. Thank you. So kind. So kind.
At Gillum, with the Sisterhood Extravaganza. What is the Sisterhood Extravaganza?
Well, the Sisterhood Extravaganza is a women's empowerment
You're so
organization.
beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm sorry,
Thank
but
you
you just got me mesmerized right now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's a women's empowerment organization.
And it shows.
Yeah, does it?
Yeah.
It says empowerment shows.
Empowerment shows, and that's why I can't take my eyes off of you,
Well,
because
good.
you breathe that, and then you exude that.
Oh my goodness, that is so good to hear, because you know why? This is what I want every woman to feel, to exude, because that's what happens in the empowerment movement. See, people think knowledge is empowerment, but really empowerment is about having that self-confidence, really having the self-esteem to really go out and get what you truly desire. So that's why I started the organization. It really was around saying, you know what, I can give you all the tools and strategies, but if I don't help you increase your self-esteem, if I don't help you see the value in who you are, then you'll never be able to accomplish those goals.
You walk in and automatically the room transforms because you have that confidence. You exude that, my goodness, I am here, ready.
Wow.
And that's what you do, and really does transform.
Well, thank you.
And if you're able to do that, and we're going to talk about your book here a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
With Sisterhood.
Yeah, and this is where it all started, Francisco, just so you know. So what happened in 2013, I wrote this book, and I wrote this book really at a place where I was going through a lot. I was actually in the process of a divorce, so at that time my self-esteem was really, really bruised and damaged, my confidence. I had lost sight of who I was because I was a mom and a wife for so long. I hadn't really focused on me, like a lot of women do. And so at the time of writing this book, it was just therapeutic for me, and I had a book release celebration. Women came, over 60 women showed up to really help me celebrate this book. And then afterwards they started saying, well, when's the next Sisterhood meeting? I'm like, no, I just wrote a book. I just wrote a book. That was it. And so I started getting all these emails and started getting phone calls from people saying, no, we really need this. We women need to really come together and really talk about what some of the things are that keep us from really moving forward in our careers, in our businesses. And so I put together this organization, and it's been a year now.
What are the things that keep women from?
There are 5 things that I talk about in my book, 5 principles that women really need to be able to understand who they are. The first one is we really have to understand who we are. Like, what's our purpose? Because see, you lose sight of that. When you enter into relationships with others, you sort of lose sight sometimes of who you are. So we really need to understand who we are in relationship with us.
So do you find that women then defer to the male for their identity?
For anyone that they're in relationships with for their identity, because think about it, as a mother, who do you identify with? Your children. You're like, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, but I'm Pat. And so who is Pat? Perfect. And so that's what we really want women to really understand, the value of who they are first, because when you start loving yourself and understanding who you are, you're going to just enhance and add to someone else's life when you come into relationship with them. They're going to accept you for who you are, you're going to accept them for who they are and the value that they bring, and know that it's going to be this amazing relationships that happen. And I really talk to this because I did a lot of coaching with women who were having struggles with their mother-in-laws. And so instead of that relationship being adversarial, I really wanted women to mend that relationship and really find the things that they had in common. Because why? The mother had this amazing son that she married, right? That the daughter married. So obviously there was that common piece of love for both of them. So how about have this relationship with each other now that really nurtures who he is even.
Amazing. So that's number 1. How about the 3, 4, 2?
So obviously
3, 4,
loving
and
yourself, understanding who you are, loving yourself, and then you're able, the second is obviously being able to love other people unconditionally.
That's hard. That's a hard word.
It's a very, but you get to do that when you understand you, because what happens so many times is people can see faults in others and they sometimes will defer from themselves, right? But when you truly understand your faults and that you're not perfect, you're going to accept people for who they are.
Correct, but it's easier said than done, though.
Oh yeah, a lot of things, right?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds good, and I'm listening to what you're saying. It sounds very good, but yeah, and I can tell you, look, I love you unconditionally until I don't, and until I have to.
Yes.
And
then you start putting conditions.
Then
on.
you start putting conditions on that unconditional love. I love you unconditionally, but or
Until.
except
Yes.
or until.
Yes.
All right. So number 3. What
Okay.
else?
So and then also, being able to forgive others. So that's really
Do you
important.
believe in forgiveness?
Oh, absolutely. It's important. It's a critical key that we need to be able to forgive others for past hurts, past transgressions, whatever those are, so that we can truly move forward. And I'm not saying don't forget what someone did or how they made you feel, but truly being in a place. This is going to get a little deep for you. So I want to make sure you guys understand where I'm coming from when I say this. So
Throw it.
It is really
it
around not being in a position when I'm talking about forgiveness to say, I need to be able to understand who you are and why you behave the way you behave, to be able to love you and to forgive you for those things. So I give the example of, if you're someone who grew up in a home and what you saw was a lot of dysfunction around, your way to resolve conflict is around yelling and screaming, then you transfer that on into your marriage now, and your spouse or in the relationship doesn't understand that and it becomes abusive. Instead of her getting upset with you, she has to be able to understand he's that way because he grew up with that. And so being able to understand that, I'm able to forgive you. Not that it makes what you're doing right or what we're doing right, but you come from a place of understanding. I can understand why that person does that now. It doesn't make it right, but I can understand. And that's where we should be, in a place of love and understanding with one another.
I gotcha.
Yeah. So that's one of the key principles around truly forgiving people, right? Is
And
that
the last 2?
So I have to go over to the book so I can show people. So the other thing about that is really putting what I'm saying into practice, right? So
execution.
It's the execution, because we can talk about it all day, right?
But you have to put it into practice, otherwise it just stays in the theory, right?
Yes, definitely. And increasing that self-esteem. So here are the 5, obviously in the book.
Use my glasses here.
So the 5 really are about loving
goodness.
yourself, increasing the self-esteem, forgiving others and yourself, loving others, and then being make the change, putting it into action. So that's what that's about.
And everything is right here.
Everything is there in the lessons I've learned.
So you came from this relationship that was awful.
But it was great at the same time.
Because you learn to love yourself. So but you can only appreciate that after the fact, not while you're going through it.
When you're going through it, especially when you truly don't know who you are, you're going to question everything. You're going to say, God, why am I even in this, right?
When you're going through this process, then who did you find?
I found this amazing person inside. I really truly understood my value, my worth, my purpose, all of those things that I really want to get women to understand, that you are perfect just the way you are. You don't need to change who you are. I don't mind, because I have to say this for my ladies, you can enhance, always enhance.
Yep.
Because I always say that, I go, if you want to enhance something about yourself, that's great. But there's never going to be this place where I want to come from, I got to change who I really am, because I'm unique. There's no one on this planet like me. There's no one on this planet like you. No one. No one can ever be a Francisco. Isn't that amazing to know? Like, not even twins have the same DNA.
Right.
So when we get that, like who we are and how amazing we are, we have to be able, so here's the piece that's really challenging to put into practice, because we live in a society that tells us who we should be. We are faced with a lot of images that tell us what we should look like.
Right.
And so how do you really find yourself when the world is portraying all these images of who they think you should be? You should be married, have 2 kids, have a dog, have a white picket fence.
This is the way that I should look, what to wear, etc., etc. How much to weigh, I mean, it's just...
It is, right? It's like all the pressures.
Tremendous.
And so when you get still and really understand, that whole thing I talk about is really understanding how unique you are and how no one has your same DNA, and that you truly are made for a purpose, you get to start feeling pretty special. You get to start saying, oh my God, I'm amazing. I am like amazing. There's no one like me. Like nobody can even replicate me. So when people talk about being in business, I do business coaching for women. And so they come to me from other coaches that say, well, why are you unique? What makes you special? How are you different from all the other companies out there that are doing what you're doing? And I listen to all the things they say. And I go, you know what? You're the mojo. You're what's special. It's the you. Because literally, all the information pretty much is the same. It's how it's being delivered a lot of times. And it's that person who's delivering that information that's really going to be able to help people transform, that's really going to be able to help people make some decisions.
What I'm hearing from you is that you could probably find a lot of these principles and then some. You can find it anywhere, but it really doesn't matter because it's about your personal journey. It's about the self. It's about what you believe in yourself. The belief that you can transform yourself into somebody that is much greater than what you might be going through right now.
Absolutely.
And that's what you found yourself.
Yeah. And I see that too in so many times because that's why I say what you're doing is so amazing. Because if you think about it, it's like, okay, people who come over and they come into Arizona, especially because we're in Arizona, but they come here and they say, how do I start a business? How do I start something profitable? And they think of all the things of why it won't work, right?
Sure.
But then you start realizing, wait a minute, I can do this. I can do this. People have started businesses before. And so you go out and you do it. And I love what you've done. You say, I'm going to create a platform for entrepreneurs in this whole complex.
It never ceases to amaze me. People concentrate in general of the things that they do not have.
Yes.
Instead of the things that they do have.
That they do have.
Oh, I can't make it because I don't have a car. Oh, I don't have enough money for gas. Oh, I don't have this. Oh, I don't have that. Da, 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 da. All right, stop. What do you have?
Take
and make
inventory.
An inventory.
That's so true. Yes, we're the same.
We're on the same thing.
Yes.
Things fly around here. Just be careful. But you know, I love it. So, do you find yourself sometimes frustrated with some women that you see their potential, you see that they can change, you see their pain, because you've gone through that pain, and they're still there, and they're still there, and there's really, you know, a barrier that I'm going to say because this is for women and for men as well.
Oh, yes.
So that we've created that we can't jump that hurdle. Is it frustrating for you?
You know, it's not frustrating for me because you know why? Because I go back to what I shared with you earlier, the whole understanding piece of how people were reared or what influences they've had in their lives that have probably made them feel the way they do. But I know what's possible for them. And so what I want to do is expose them to people. See, because people see me today as highly successful. But what they have to understand the story behind the glory, right? And so when these women get to say, oh my gosh, she's gone through a divorce, her marriage fell apart, she's gone, you know, through all these things, and if she can do it, I know I can do it. So it's that exposure for them that's really going to allow them to see. Because a lot of people see with their eyes and not the vision. Right. And so once they get to see other people doing it and they're exposed to other people who are breaking barriers such as yourself, right? And really starting amazing businesses and platforms for others, they're going to say, I can do that. I can do that.
For you, it was a situation where you didn't really care so much what happened to you, but you cared about what you did with what happened to you.
Yes.
And then you're able to build.
I know, I like this. I like this. You can go as deep as you want,
man, I'm telling you. But you did that. And you saw that. And you said, all right, that's my experience. I'm not going to stay there. What can I do with that?
Yes.
And you were able to build an empire with that.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I love about it.
Yeah, so it's been great. And again, my goal is if I can just help other women understand that whole principles around who we are so that they can truly have the life that they want to be living. So many people are living far less than what they deserve.
Do you know what is great about you is because I think that you're probably one of the richest women in the world. And I tell you why. Because it's got to be an amazing experience, changing the life of one individual, right?
Yes.
And when you see that, then you're probably seeing yourself in that individual. Yeah, I did it, and now you're doing it. And then when you start seeing that in other women, and in other women, and another person, another, in that sisterhood that you've created, then you have a wealth.
Yes. I was waiting for
power.
that word, wealth. We have a wealth, and I'm telling you, that's the whole wealth mentality. Like there's an abundance, there's more than enough for all of us, and that's what I want to teach women in sisterhood too, because a lot of women operate in scarcity. They think there's not enough men, there's not enough jobs, there's not enough.
There are not enough good men.
I don't know about the good men, but there's a lot of men.
There are a lot of men, but they're not the right men. I can tell.
So once they get these principles, they're going to start getting the right man. They're going to attract that right man into their lives. So that's true. So there is enough right men for them, right?
Absolutely. And I tell you,
Yes.
I tell you what. Well, I'm going to give you a nice little souvenir.
I love this.
For
Look at this.
coming. We have the
Thank
right size, by the way.
Yes.
Somewhere in there, we have more of it. But this is what this is cool about this
I
t-shirt,
love this.
because
Peaceful soul.
Peaceful soul. It's about the virtues of entrepreneurs, which are simplicity, discipline, humility, kindness, and honesty.
I love it.
that
Thank
cool?
you.
I wanna give
yes,
that to you.
Thank you.
And
Thank
know
you
that-
so much.
And let me tell you what makes
I
me
love
sad.
it.
Let me tell you what makes me sad.
Yes.
I'm going to be very honest with you.
What is it?
And you're going to have
I
to
love
fix this for me,
this. Okay, I'll share enlightenment for you.
please. What's sad is that this show is only about 10 to 15 minutes. And it has to end. Because I feel that you and I can sit here
Yes.
and talk forever.
Well,
These are just phenomenal topics that really, anything that has to do with transformation.
yes.
And being conscious of yourself. Not blaming people for your whatever is happening.
Right.
Taking account of your own life.
I agree. So I agree with you, but this is good that it's only 15 minutes because you know why? It gets people to come back. It says, I want more of that. And so that's what we're doing.
It's like we had a little dessert, but just not the whole
Just a little
not the whole pie, just a
appetizer
little,
for them.
a little piece.
Yes,
But
so
you're gonna
that
have
would
to
be
come
great.
back. You're gonna come back.
I would love to
Please.
because I think even what we're talking about is a great discussion for a panel for men and women to get together and talk about these
Oh,
issues,
don't put me
right?
on a panel, man. I tell you what, because I have my own opinions about things.
That's good. We need that. We need that.
They're not bad opinions, but I think, I might come from a little bit of a different side.
And we want that because we don't want the norm, because the norm is what keeps us bounded, right?
It's going to foster a conversation.
Yes.
It's going to foster
love
and
it.
tolerance.
Yes.
Because even if we have a disagreement on how to get there, we all agree that we need to get there.
Yes, the destination is the same no matter what roads we take. And so I want to thank you for having me today.
Man, you're so awesome.
Yay, thank you. Thank
kiss.
you. Mwah.
You're
Thank
beautiful.
you.
And with that, can you say, by the way, you're going to be the featured guest for the week. I just decided that.
Well,
Isn't
thank
that cool?
you.
She's the featured guest. You're the featured guest.
Well, thank
So I'm
you.
going to write a beautiful blog about you, and it's going to go to hundreds of thousands of people.
I appreciate that.
Because
I'm so
is
grateful, so
what you're
honored.
doing is, the empowerment of women. It's so valuable, so rich. That's why I said that you're a wealthy woman.
Wealth. I have a wealth of people around me, and now you're included in that.
Oh,
so
you're so
thank you.
amazing. And with that, we're out.
Thank you.